Let's welcome in our co-hosts on this Thursday. He is a New York Times best-selling author, retired firefighter, and safety engineer, Mr. John Gilstrap.
Good morning.
You got to go first this morning. Same?
Yeah, I know. It's top billing.
Top.
For this segment.
Number one.
Yeah.
Numero uno.
Huh? I'm moved. Now, when we do that on Mondays, when I'm on with Bill, that will be something. When I'm on with the Admiral and I get top billing over the Admiral.
I'm going to work on that.
I don't expect it to happen, but
alternate the top billing.
Yeah.
He is a Vietnam War veteran. 26 years he served in the House of Delegates in West Virginia. Former Deputy Revenue Secretary, Mr. John Doyle.
Good morning, and John Gilstrap, it is a seniority system here, which is why you will always be ahead of me, and Bill will always be ahead of you.
Well, if I really went on seniority...
I was going to say, let's define seniority.
Years served as a co-host. Even if I went on that, you'd have the seniority there. Nobody would.
Well, yeah, but not consecutive. Yeah. I had 17 years before you guys were even born. Before you all were even born at WRNR.
Well, that part's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's welcome in our first guests of the morning, Matt Mullenax. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great, sir. Michaela McDonough is here as well. Good morning, Michaela.
Good morning.
And we're talking trails today, bike trails, bike paths, and connectivity.
Happy trails to you.
Love that song.
Until we meet again. Sorry.
Good. He's got the
Maybe 10 more bars. Let's see. Yes, good morning. So we are talking about trails. Specifically, we're talking about a feasibility study that our agency is undertaking to look at ways to connect where the Route 9 bike path ends currently in Jefferson County, the eastern end at Curry Road, and trying to connect that down into downtown Ranson and Charlestown, directly to the good folks that live, work, and shop there.
And you are the executive director of the Hagerstown Eastern Panhandle MPO.
Correct, yes. So the MPO, we are a federally funded and designated regional transportation planning agency. So transportation planning is the name of our game. We cover Jefferson and Berkeley counties as well as Washington County, Maryland.
And that MPO stands for Metropolitan Planning Organization. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okie dokie.
Yep.
And Michaela, you have specific expertise in what we are discussing today. What is that expertise?
I do a lot of the mapping and GIS analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle, for sliding the microphone a little bit closer. Yeah. All right. So when you do mapping, how is it done now versus maybe how it was done years ago?
Years ago, as in the MPO?
Well, the technology of mapping.
I don't know. I'm still quite
You're still young at this.
Young, yeah. So
we could do cartography.
Right.
We could say pen and pencil or Mylar versus heads-up digitizing, right? So Michaela does a lot with aerial photography, mapping off of that, pulling in CAD data from engineers, all kinds of things.
Are you flying drones to
No.
get ground information? How do you get the information?
we get them from our local government agencies, a lot from our planning departments, a lot from our DOTs. You can really find any data anywhere. So it's, yeah.
All right, very nice. So ultimately, what are we trying to create here, Matt?
Absolutely. So the MPO, in 2023, we completed a regional bicycle and pedestrian plan, and one of the highest priorities was trying to figure out a way to make this connection, right? People stop at Curry Road, they park there. What if they could actually park, say, at Charlestown Skate Park and get on a trail there and make that connection all the way to Martinsburg? And so that's what the study is attempting to do. And we have a public meeting that's coming up on December 16th, and this is at the Jefferson County Commission, their new meeting room at 393 North Lawrence Street in Charlestown. We want to hear from the public on their ideas for how to make this connection, right? So what are areas of concern? What are destinations maybe they would like to be able to walk and bike to? And what are some potential routes that we should consider as maybe the top three or maybe one of the best possible options to move forward into the next project development.
And when is this meeting again?
December 16th.
And what time?
That's at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And the location, again?
That is the Jefferson County Commission Meeting Room, 393 North Lawrence Street. So that's the old APIS building, not the one with the clock on it, but the one next to it. It's actually the one that's closest to the Boys and Girls Club there in Charlestown. And for folks who are not able to make the meeting that evening, that's all right. We're going to have an online survey that's going to be open for 30 days. Starting December 15th, we'll have a link up for that hopefully next week. But that's going to be able to take all the same information from anyone that wasn't able to make the meeting as if they were there.
So this bicycle path basically is what it is. Is this a done deal and now you're just looking at how to route it and where to connect it? Or is it still in the whole entire we don't know if we're going to do this or not phase?
So I would like to say we're going to do it, but if you look at a typical project timeline for how something of this nature gets created, these are the first steps. So we're taking the first steps right now.
Is the funding there?
The funding is only there for the planning phase, and that's where we're at right now. But
Gotcha.
what we're excited about is that, as you all probably familiar with, the MPO worked with the City of Martinsburg, West Virginia DOT, the Berkeley County Commission to get the Martinsburg Greenway Trail build grant, that $20 million build grant that was awarded in January. We're picking up the blueprint for how we did that, and we're trying to do that in Jefferson County as well, so that it would eventually become a reality.
All right. We're looking at some graphics on our screen right now.
Yes.
Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. So what we're looking at, so at the bottom of you see the teal line, so that is where the Route 9 bike path ends, right? So that's Curry Road. And so where we want to get to is to Charlestown through Ranson. And there are a number of opportunities and obstacles that are in between those two locations. So the two biggest obstacles are how do you get over Route 9, under, over, along, and how do you get, with the Norfolk Southern Railroad line, how do you get over, under, or around that, right? And so those are some of the two greatest challenges. And so destinations that people want to see, or those are the two greatest obstacles, I should say. Destinations folks are interested in is how do I get to Potomac Marketplace, where Kohl's, Home Depot, Panera is located? How do I get to the other side of Route 9, where the Wawa is being built, where Chick-fil-A is, where McDonald's is, right? The new Ranson Elementary School, right, was just built along Curry Road outside of town. There's a lot of interest. Ranson Elementary was one of the only schools in West Virginia that used to participate in National Bike and Walk to School Day. So, gosh, this has been a while. But 8 years ago, we were able to work with Ranson Elementary, the City of Ranson, W Hospital, Ranson Police Department, and we actually had a bicycle rodeo where we gave out free helmets at Ranson Elementary. So there's a really strong interest in trying to keep some sort of a connection like that where kids could walk or bike to school. And then the last thing is that there are just a lot of proposed developments that are in between those two locations. So Michaela worked with City of Ranson with their planning department and was able to map, 12 or 13
there's a lot.
Residential and commercial developments that are proposed in the sense that plans have been submitted, not even properties that are for sale, right, for development. And so there's a lot that's going. Yeah. So looking at the map, so there's topography challenges, there's the crossings, right, and then there's right-of-way challenges. And so we're hoping that as we do this planning, it's our desire to use existing right-of-way and easements to the fullest extent possible. Where it looks like maybe we would have to consider if private property would be an option, we would walk very gingerly and thoughtfully through those conversations with property owners before putting a line on a map, a hard line on a map, saying this is the way it has to be.
All right, John Gilstrap.
What are the topography challenges? What does that mean?
Yeah, so topography challenges. So if you think about how there's some. So I'm thinking of some of the different options. So So let's say, one of the options that folks had talked about in the past was, what if we went along over beside the Route 9 overpass bridges, we come into Potomac Marketplace, and we come and we utilize Flowing Springs Park, right, that the City of Ranson owns. Well, to get down to Flowing Springs Park, there's a significant topography challenge. If you've ever been to the edge of the Home Depot parking lot there, right, there's a massive retaining wall, and then you drop down, I'm going to say 15 feet or more to get down to where Flowing Springs actually is. So that's
So we're not talking about flattening out hills. We're talking about
negative. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, people, most folks seem to really, if you talk to the bikers and walkers, they really seem to enjoy the topography challenges that are on the existing Route 9 bike path, right? That kind of variety. And so that would be it. More of an engineering challenge.
Would it be simpler just to build a bike lane along the roads and do it that way?
That's certainly one option. What needs to be, so there's a few things to think about when doing that, if that were to be how folks would like it. So how do we safely separate bikers and walkers from traffic, right? How fast is the traffic moving? And then does that give the same feel as the existing bike path, right? So if folks drive by it, it's not unusual to see several folks out at the same time as a group walking with strollers. So would that be a same group that would be comfortable walking along, say, a bike lane or a path that's directly adjacent to, say, the existing Route 9, which is a 4-lane divided highway? So those are all factors that we need to consider. And if the public is comfortable with that, and that bears out through planning and engineering safety concepts, then that I think that'd be fine.
And what's projected price tag?
That's a great question. So it will depend on the route, right? So if we were to build, say, new bridges that go over Route 9 or go over Norfolk Southern, those would be extremely pricey. So I'm thinking of Route 9. So the build grant that we received, which includes no bridges, maybe one in Martinsburg near Tuscarora Creek. That's $20.8 million, I think, almost $21 million. But that was able to be secured through a discretionary grant, right, that had 100% federal share. It required no local match. It was it's currently part of the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act, the federal surface transportation bill that Senator Capito helped get passed in November of 2021. So, yeah, it would probably not be cheap, but there's ways that we can do it without, robbing the budgets of local government.
As someone who walks regularly along alternate 45 just outside of Shepherdstown, I can tell you, I feel much safer that it's a separated bike path, even by just a few feet of grass. So I know it's more expensive, but if you want people to use it, if we can figure out a way to get the money to have it separated, I would strongly urge that. Question. First of all, I'm usually not a cheerleader on things.
Okay.
But Matt and Michaela, we're going to do this. We're going to get this done. And my question is, when we get it done, are we going to take it to the top of the Blue Ridge?
Well, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. So
that's right.
We're starting to eat right now, right?
That's
so
right.
That's what that would need to happen. But there's certainly interest, and John, you make an interesting point. I'm just I'm thinking about it. Having the bike path directly adjacent to, say, Route 9 is one of the major complaints I've heard from existing riders and walkers. So we think of the new route, the quote-unquote new Route 9.
Yeah, I know. I remember Route 9 is what is now 115. Yeah.
Right. So if you drive the new Route 9 into Loudoun County, you'll see the green bike route signs that are on the shoulder, right? The only thing separating you from 65-mile-per-hour trucks is a rumble strip that's probably 18 inches or 24 inches wide.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel comfortable.
80,000-pound semi-truck and trailer. Yeah, you're right. That's
that's the type of design we would advocate against, and we would want something much stronger.
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Absolutely.
So you're talking about rerouting in that case, or is it just a matter of a permanent, more attractive Jersey barrier that?
Well, I guess that would be a separate issue on how to make that particular section of it better. But for us, one option could be considering a Jersey barrier. The only place I would probably really consider a Jersey barrier is if the route were to go over the existing Route 9 bridges, right? So The shoulder that's there could be wide enough for a bike and a walking path, but at least for that part, I would want to have Jersey barriers. If we don't add on to the existing bridge, which we talked to DOH about,
Yeah.
the bridge folks, the structures folks, and they think probably you'd have to replace the whole bridge to add enough room, which was what was done for the bridge that goes over Peckin Creek, right? A lot of folks think that the bike path there was actually added on, but it was part of the whole new Route 9. It was designed and built from the beginning.
Matt, the current trail stops at Curry Road?
That's correct. Yep.
And how long has it been in that status, Michaela or Matt?
Trying to think, so the new Route 9
Since
was...
they finished the
so probably
4-lane Route 9.
2008?
Yeah, something
the
like
whole
that.
thing, I should
Yeah.
say. Yeah, so it's been there going on 17 years.
Has the plan you're sifting through now been
Mm-hmm.
proposed previously?
So in our previous studies, we have talked about how the connection could be made, but more or less it's dotted lines on a map. And I know that Michaela has done some research on what's in the city of Charlestown's comprehensive plan, what's in the city of Ransom's comprehensive plan. They have also considered ways they could possibly make these connections, but outside of very high-level planning efforts, this is really wading into it for the first time deeply.
Did it stop at Curry Road because that's what the funding provided at the time, or was there a strategic reason why it stopped at the time at Curry Road?
That's hard,
Well,
right?
yeah, I'm not sure if any of the DOH engineers are still around from when that happened, but if I had to guess, some of the challenges that we've outlined here, some of the challenges that if we brought in, Andy Blake or Commissioner Catlett or some others from on the Berkeley County side, they're probably like, well, this is as close as we can get without running into significant issues, so we're gonna stop it here, and we'll build parking rides
And I
on the
believe
edge.
Andy was the Ranson city manager at the time. Is that correct?
Oh boy,
I think he was. Yeah.
He might have been with Bowles and Rice even then, if we go that far back. But
okay.
But he did. You're right. He previously worked for the city of Ranson as the city
Yeah.
manager. Certainly when Fairfax Boulevard was built.
Right, yeah.
As that exists.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
which would have been probably right around that time.
The proposed path that you're outlining here, since you don't know the exact route at this time, but roughly what is the distance of the new extension you're proposing?
So depending on the route, it could be roughly somewhere between maybe 3 to 4 miles. So the existing Route 9 bike path is 10.5 miles, and the build grant that the city of Martinsburg received is going to add about 6.2 miles of new trails, so just a little bit less on the Jefferson side to make that connection.
Okay. And have you done anything like this before successfully in regards to extending a path or creating a new one?
Yeah, so that's what we're doing on the Route 9 on the Martinsburg side. Now that project hasn't been built yet. It's starting to get designs about to be completed, but that's again
The
that's
Martinsburg
blueprint.
end of this
Yes,
project.
yes. So the Martinsburg example would be the one.
And
But-
how long did that take?
Well, so Andy was instrumental in getting the Frog Hollow switch secured from CSX to build that leg of it. I'd say we've been more or less talking about it or trying to work on it for probably since at least 2015, so about 10 years.
And there was, I think, was it a $20 million?
Correct, yes.
And has that been freed up? I know there was some questions about 10 months ago whether or not they would actually get that money or not.
Yes. So right now, where that I was just in a meeting at City Hall about this yesterday. Where that is right now is the city is waiting on the federal grant agreement from USDOT, and once that's executed, they could start to move forward. So there's a court case with the state of California versus USDOT Secretary Duffy that I think has been decided or is playing out, and that's going to impact how federal grant agreements are going to be written moving forward. So
how would the proposed extension of Route 9 play into that toward Hedgesville?
So we certainly would advocate for having a similar road section and design that would include a separated bike path. That's in our regional bicycle plan from 2023.
Okay.
Whatever form that would take. So if that is the ultimate vision for the new Route 9 West from Martinsburg to Berkeley Springs, if it's some of the shorter versions that go around Hedgesville and stop at Johnsontown, all those we would advocate for, including a bike path.
Well, I would presume it eventually has to get to Berkeley Springs anyway, no matter where it goes when it gets near Hedgesville. So, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Is there any government, local government match that's required on a grant like this?
On the build grant right now, no, which is fantastic, and it's very rare in our line of work. There would be a very large federal transportation discretionary grant that has no local match requirements, and that's actually the build is a slightly different iteration of the RAISE grant, which was what we also were able to get Elaine Bartleson and EPTA, right, for the EPTA Transit Center in downtown Martinsburg. So we've been very successful in working with our local partners and our state partners in getting these types of grants, and that's what we're hoping is going to happen.
Does it require a state grant?
No. Yeah,
just
it's
strictly feds.
It's pretty yes.
Okay.
Now there are certain stipulations and ways that when the grant is awarded that may involve state DOTs, for example. So if you have to go through the NEPA process, the National Environmental Policy Act process, state DOTs have a good working relationship with, say, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Soil Conservation Service, all your resource agencies to help SHPO, right, to help get clearances so projects can move forward.
Okay.
Is this scratching a particular itch that exists? I mean, do we see a lot of pedestrian injuries and such, or whatever you call a bicycle, I guess, sort of modified pedestrian? Do we have a safety issue currently that is documented with issues, or is this a quality of life?
So it's a little of both. We could thread the needle and tie it all together. So one of the proposed routes or options could be taking the Route 9 bike path and going through the existing Route 9 Fairfax Boulevard Oakley intersection, right, which is right where Five Guys and Wawa and everything is. There has been a demonstrated safety issue involving cars, involving pedestrians at that intersection.
Oh, that's a horrific intersection.
Oh,
yes.
it's terrible.
Yes.
A 60-mile-an-hour traffic light approach. I've just not ever seen that before.
Right. So now there's certainly interest from bikers to be able to go to areas where they can shop, eat, recreate, right, things like that. But is it safe? And so that's actually another thing. There's a complementary effort that the city of Ranson's undertaking that feeds into our effort, where they're looking at, is it feasible, is it possible to design a pedestrian overpass bridge or some sort of modification to that intersection where pedestrians could safely cross back and forth.
At that particular intersection, is there a crosswalk for pedestrians now?
There is not. No. So pedestrians, but there's a strong desire to cross in between, right? So on the east side, on the west side of that intersection, right, you have Wawa, you have McDonald's, you've got Chick-fil-A, and you have folks now on the other side on Briar Run, on President's Point, that want to access that spot. And then you have folks from Fairfax Crossing or further south in the state of Ranson that want to get to the other side and access over there. So there is, while it's not, I would say it's categorically unsafe, people are making that crossing. There is a demonstrated crash history there.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, EPTA does run one of their routes through there. So, and EPTA, Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority, they operate a flag stop system. So even if you're not at a bus stop, if you want to get to the other side.
Matt, I'm out of time.
Oh, yeah. Just take the bus.
The meeting is on the 16th.
Yeah.
Starts at 6 o'clock.
You got it.
And that's at the APIS building.
Yes.
Where the county commission in Jefferson County meets.
That's correct.
You get your input on this new proposed trail and where it will
Where
work
it
its
could
way
go.
through.
Yeah,
how it ends.
absolutely.
Matt and Michaela, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.